My name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builders Supply, and this video is to talk about the basic difference between where and when you might use a offset pole in lieu of a straight pole. Rockwood manufactures a variety of architectural door poles that all have the prefix RM. I imagine it means or stands for Rockwood Manufacturing. And they have, and I believe the long pole or decorative pole world started to emerge, to my knowledge, in the early 1990s, even though I'm sure it existed substantially before that. But I really became aware of dozens of options in this arena about that time. So, and this link is below this video to this catalog that I'm scrolling through. The point I'm driving at is when or where would you prefer one or over the other? These happen to be their RM 6060, etc. series, where they're leather wrapped. You've got some straight poles here, and you've got some offset poles here. Okay, it's well shown here, and this is just an example. Obviously, leather wrapped poles may not be what you're really after, or these Arbor Tech poles, the wood poles, that may not be what you're after. But the point of the matter is, or rubber wrapped. Rubber is nice, just to get off on it aside for a moment. American Southwest or the American Southeast. Pretty hot in the summer. Nothing says ouch more like putting your hand on a piece of solid metal when it's been hit with a 108-degree temperature for the last 7 hours. So rubber wrapping, works to eliminate that very real discomfort. Getting into some material that's going to be more typical, more garden variety that you're going to see, will be this type of straight pole that you see here versus the same pole in the same options with an offset mount. And the only thing, all of this stays the same on each of these. The only thing that changes are these mounting posts, straight or offset. So why would you use a straight pole? Well, because you like the look. A nice straight pole, it's going to look super elegant. You can balance it within the style of the door very well so that it's going to look super nice. Okay. There are times, however, that without thinking of it, what is actually happening is a conflict is about to occur. Here's a picture of where a straight pole has been installed in such a way where it's kind of right in the center of the style, right? I mean, maybe not exact, but I'm also just freehanding this with my mouse. This pole is basically, it's offset a little bit, but it's kind of in the center. Doesn't look so bad in that sort of setting. Here is an example of offset poles where your mounting points, again, they're not in the exact center, but they're relatively centered. Relatively centered here, right? Not so bad. You'll notice these are offset. Big offset here. You look at classic offset bars. These are classic offset bars. Typical, nothing unusual about them, and you can see certainly where they're getting a lot closer to mounting that right in the middle of the style. So they look balanced on the doors. Okay. Now here is where we're really going to illustrate the difference. Here is a pair of doors where straight poles were used. They're reasonably balanced on the door. But the problem that you get into is you've got basically a conflict right here, a key cylinder. Okay. Imagine if they truly balanced this on the door, kicked it over, you would be partially covering the cylinder. That's a pair of doors that we're seeing here. Okay. Here is another example where they have really moved that pull over as far as they could. You can basically see the mounting post is touching the door itself. This is a single door, which is going to exemplify the problem. What's the distance, would you say, between the pull and the stop of the frame? If this backset is very likely 1.1 inches. Okay. That backset is basically 1.1 inches. So from the edge of the door to the center of the hole is 1.1 inches. What do we guess the dimension between here and here to be? It might be 2 inch. I would argue that that's a very small amount of room to fit your hand into. Okay, so that's where you will certainly want to consider an offset pull, and you do so because you need to be able to access the head of the cylinder. Why make a video about such a thing? I do so because hopefully people will see it and then incorporate the design. I've done projects both for 1 or 2 sets of pull handles, and I've done projects for 90 sets of pull handles where they get the hardware out to the aluminum storefront guy and then he discovers, I can't fit the key into the cylinder. Rockwood manufactures this material. It's all made to order. They don't stock any of it at all. And by definition, it's inherently not returnable. So a little bit of a video discussing why you're going to want offset. And it's really to help account for any sort of hardware conflict that you might have. These images are down below this video link, as is the full line product catalog that I had mentioned earlier. If you have any questions on Rockwood RM series pulls, offset, or straight, please feel free to reach out. Thank you.